Alright, Carson. On today of Grinds My Gears.
On today, grinding my gears.
We are talking about
Money.
real life situation. Can you say money?
Real life situations. Can you see money, smell it? Do you believe in it? Do you worship it? A lot of ammo. I don't get no mats? This is guerrilla warfare? Okay,
Oh my
okay.
god, that does not sound fun. That sounds actually good. Oh, they're storming up.
Oh wait, who are these guys?
No!
I'm getting close and personal.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I lied.
You know, that was just right in our face, like most of these problems that people have that they don't see.
They don't see it because they don't want to believe it's there. They want to blame something else other than themselves or the person they're hanging out with or the thing they're abusing.
Right? And like from my personal experience, bro, it is really hard when you're hanging out with a fun friend group to just change it up and completely go to someone else because you feel like you just lost your whole like basis.
That's when you have to prioritize what you're into, not about the people you're into or who you do it with, but what do you actually think is best for you, not what's fun for you. I believe one of the most things that get people is not wanting to try something new because you're scared to fail.
Trying something new is always the best thing to do. Like, after you get over your little whining stage of you not being with your friends, dude, there's something better to come from that.
That comes from the human nature of what's working, don't fix it. If it's not broken, why would I change it? I like doing this thing I'm doing, but you don't think about the future because you're just living in the moment, which is great at sometimes, but you don't want to stay in the moment. What do you get from being in the moment?
And that goes with the people that are like partying too. Like, a lot of bad stuff happens at parties and they just don't care. Since I stopped partying and everything and doing all that stuff, I notice when I go back to them, I don't like it, dude. Like, the people that are there and basically the friend groups they have, they're terrible people.
FBI, open up! Help me! Hey, that's pretty good.
What do you think are some good hobbies that people could do when they get upset, other than lashing out at people or feeling bad for themselves? Because that's more things that people do.
I would say hobbies. Do something that you like doing. Do something you've done your whole life. Like, it could be as simple as going out and playing soccer. Like, maybe you don't play soccer anymore. You could be going to play soccer. Something that gets you out of that bad friend.
You don't want people who is constantly negative or don't want the best for you. They only care about themselves.
What do you think are some things that people can do to get out of the situations like that?
Know that it's not the worst time, that it will get better. Give stuff some time. Don't rush into things. Take your time. Find something you enjoy, not something just to take up your time. Which, it's important to get your mind off things, but to make sure that it's something that will benefit it, not just make it worse.
And I think it's more of just the awkwardness at first that people hate. Like, when I stopped hanging out with Dean and all of them, like, it felt really weird. But after a couple months, dude, like, I started to notice, I started changing, and I started doing, like, better stuff with my life. I don't know how to put it in a way, but I just started actually pushing forward with my life. Oh my
Sometimes
God.
because you're doing it with other people, you think that because they're doing it, it can't be wrong or it's not toxic or and also people always say, oh, they want to fit in or whatnot, but sometimes that's in the back of your head and you're doing it subliminally, which you're not thinking you're doing it so they like you, but you're doing it because they're doing it and they're having fun, so maybe you want to have fun, so let me do the same thing.
Right? Like, you are the fit. Like, you yourself can be a leader.
That's why the most important thing you can do in your life is to figure out what kind of person you are.
Just grab one piece of paper and write down all the things that you're passionate about. Write all the things you do for fun, write the things that you hate, and then you narrow your list down and scratch them off by things you hate the most out of those lists, and narrow it down to what you find out what you love the most. We should probably talk about what happens, like, after you kind of get away from that bad friend group. Like, when people start seeing you do good after you hang out with them and they don't even talk to you anymore because you basically switch your friend group up. They say you're real friends, but they never text you unless you text them first. That is my biggest pet peeve, is when your friends only reply because you texted them first.
Sometimes it could be both ways though, but
Get him, lad!
Leave me alone!
it's more about what was going on. Did you hear something happen to them? Do you even care? Or also, when you come back to them, when you're talking to them again, do they seem like they care? Are they acting like they care? What kind of questions are they asking you? Sometimes they come back and they're like, oh, what's up, man? You know, doing it? And then like you talk about something and like, oh, you knew about that? You know, I really could have needed someone there. And then maybe before they're like, oh, I'm your best friend ever. You gotta show it, you know. One of my pet peeves.
You gotta put forth effort.
One of my pet peeves that a lot of people do is you'll toss blame on the other person about not doing the same things you didn't do, or acting like they're your best friend, but they're not doing anything a best friend would do. Saying, oh, I love this person, or I care about this person, or I do anything for this person, but when those times come, you don't show that you actually would.
And like everyone will notice when the times comes, because you'll start separating yourself, you'll start being alone, doing what you need to do in your life, and you will get texts from people that aren't even your friends. Like, think about it like this: people who aren't even your friends will text you and saying, hey bro, I see you that you're doing good now, like I'm glad you're doing good. Not even the friends you used to hang out with that actually know you.
All the time people just try to think that this guy is this or that, or he's like that, or he seems like this, or I'm gonna label him this, but in reality everybody is still just a person like you. People are happy sometimes, and sometimes people are scared. Not just scared of the zombie apocalypse or the alien outbreak, but you know, dang,
scared of being alone.
Yeah, my mom's in trouble, my dad got this, you know, I lost my job.
I've always been the type of person not to want to be alone, but being alone, actually, believe it or not, is good.
Yeah.
It is great. It is the best thing you can ever do. Woo! I'm rushing.
I got sniped. I'm up here. Nope. I got killed by some robots.
Also, another thing I hate is when you actually start doing you and people say the same exactly how they used to be. Like, they don't change, they don't see anything for the better good.
Whenever you get better, you realize who's always been the same. You realize your mistakes and you're like, dang man, you're making the same mistakes as me. But like, you've been here before I got here, and you just try to help them, but they can't see it. People don't want to change though, because it's hard, honestly. Because you have to change a lot of things about yourself. First, admit, change, and then commit to the change. People would want to change all the time. They don't change. Why? Because it's easy not to change. No one wants to do anything hard.
It's not hard. It's so simple.
That's the thing though. All it takes is you actually committing to something, and then you just feel different, you feel better. You're like, whoa, you look back, see all the different things that's happened, realize what all your mistakes, you get better and better and better.
And then you can finally look back and be like, dude, I went through a crazy path and look where I am right now.
I think they might have left the game. A lot of people might have left. How did this guy get mats? Hold up now.
Hi sisters.
I don't know, this guy had mats back here. I think people left on their side, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just that good, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was dirty. I could not hit that dude.
Whoa, I got 200 pump. Or maybe I'm just that good, you know?
But yeah, I mean, there's also those kinds of people who always get kind of mad at you when you have a busy schedule. And I think those people would kind of be the people that you used to hang out with, that you're not trying to hang out with. Okay, Carson, okay.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. You think you're clean. Dang, you only had 3 more eliminations.
I don't gotta say nothing. It's all right there. All right there.
He said, I gotta say nothing.
Hey, more assists though. That's all I'm saying. Alright, let's talk about the canceling plans for somebody. How do you expect me not to give you the same respect as I gave this other person? But I should even give them more respect because they came ahead of time to make plans with me. Justin comes and talks to me today about, hey, today's Tuesday, hey, Thursday, do you want to go to the booth with me? I'm finna record this track. I'm like, yeah man, what time? 6 o'clock. Alright, I'll be there. And then Wednesday or Thursday before I go with you, Timmy wants to come and wants me to go to his house to come hang out with him and his friends, and I'm like, oh no, I got plans, or oh, I'm doing this thing with Justin. I'm not gonna bail on Justin, regardless of I would say who I know longer, stuff like that. I mean, that's really situational. Like why would you hang out with someone if you weren't gonna respect them that much as a friend? That's how you lose friends, being fake. Now, if it was just some girl that you were talking to and you didn't want to go to the date, or you just something, and one, you always got to communicate what you're going to do. Are you still going?
Is the most important.
Don't text them last minute. You know, when you decided not to go, text them, call them, see them, let them know.
Exactly. You can even hit them up the night before and be like, hey, are we still down for tomorrow? Like, are we still doing that?
And you shouldn't be making plans if you're not expecting to go there. Now, something comes up. That's totally different circumstances. Your mom's in the hospital.
Oh, like, yeah.
You broke your leg. You're feeling awful. Hey, be my guest.
Exactly. And I just hate the friends who get mad when you absolutely have to cancel. Like, let's just say, all right, okay, let me ask you about this. Having plans with someone, but having to cancel because you forgot you had to do something that day.
Not bad, but that speaks more about you than the person. It speaks more about you forgetting than that person, you not going with that person. But then that's up to them to actually understand the situation. They could be upset because, oh, you always do this, or, you know, they just want to say something to make themselves feel better, but it's just how it works sometimes. Sometimes you don't have 100% if someone's honest.
I hate when you absolutely, like, if you forgot you did, like those friends who get mad at you for canceling when you absolutely know you have something to do that's super important. Like friends that are like, oh, you canceled on me? Oh, what, you don't like me anymore? Like, we're not friends no more? Like, no, man. I told you I worked today. I know I said I'd go with you, but like I even showed you my schedule, man. Like,
those are also the people who usually seem more toxic in your relationship with them.
Yeah. Also, like, I want to talk about something like, you know, people who always find like font. Like, people who always bring up past mistakes that you've made. People who just bring out everything you've done that's bad in your life into the present, when you yourself knowing that you can only change the future and not the past. I just feel like a lot of people who are toxic and negative, they just hold on to the past too much, you know what I mean?
They don't also want to move from the past, is what gets them too.
They've had such bad experiences or such good experiences, but you know, those toxic people only look at the bad experiences and they use that as an excuse to basically say, I am where I am today because of that. But like, if you were pushing yourself, you could have been like, you know, I'm doing so good for myself now, you know, I've changed my friend group, all this and that, and I am who I am because of all the bad mistakes I've made now. I'm such a better person because I went through all those bad things now. Wait, where are our teammates? What is this? I don't really get this game mode.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, what is this game mode?
It's Blitz. You ever play Blitz?
Oh. He's not.
The other friend's here too.
Sniper?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm stuck. I'm back. People, how they influence you. When you have toxic, negative people around you, you know, it kind of makes you get in the same vibe of it. When you have people who are not doing a lot with their lives, or maybe not doing something pertaining to you, which is maybe positive, maybe negative, you know, it kind of puts you in that slump in that category of how to act. So whenever you change that, makes you feel better usually.
You know, as a teenager, you know, our parents always told us never hang out with those bad people, and like I never understood what they meant until I've actually went through the experiences of hung out with those bad people. Like hanging out with bad people and people to influence you, oh my god, dude, you'll see such a dramatic change in your life between the two.
People always want to give you the answers, but they never really want to tell you how you get to the question, you know. What's the question? The question, what is a good person? What is a bad person? How do you know the signs?
I think that comes back to what we were talking about with the good and bad friends. You'll know a good friend group or a good friend from a bad friend because that good friend, when you're around them, you're being your best without even trying to be your best. Like, you have courtesy, you have manners, instead of just saying, you know, F this, F that, like that girl's a B, like a B word, or stuff like that. Like people who are actually respectful to people in their life, and people who take care, and I'm not just saying, you know, people who take care of their bills are the best people, but
how did this guy kill me? I hit him first and he still beat me. Yeah, it comes down to not having the knowledge to do those things. Not knowing how can they affect you, or it's affecting you negatively because maybe you've been with them a long time, maybe they're your best friend's best friend, maybe you have a different history, or maybe, you know, you went through the same experience even though they're acting negatively towards that experience, you know, and then all the time you try to help the person or think you can help them, and then you just you end up being the same person they are.
As a teenager, or you know, even adults don't see this, but like no matter what you say, you could just say no to this and ignore it and block it out as much as you want, but you are never going to realize how bad these friends are for you until months after you're not hanging out with them anymore.
Maybe you find a
will
new
not
friend group.
really.
Maybe you move on and do something actually productive, and you're like, dang, this is actually as easy as I could have just started it now instead of years later, or maybe I didn't think I could do it, or maybe I didn't have the same people I have now, or maybe I didn't need those people, but now that I have them, it's great.
You know, people just hold on to the past too much. Like, I don't want to bring that up again, but like, people just need to let go.
Don't you let go.
One of the hardest parts of life is letting go. And once you learn how to let go, the universe will get out of your way. I swear to God.
Alright, what are some places that influence you? I would think maybe, I wouldn't say a bad neighborhood or something, but maybe that friend's house that always does bad things, or you go hang out with these guys, these girls that always be on this,
So you're
or
talking
gonna
about,
take that.
you're talking about being on good good locations when you're hanging out with people?
Well, also if you're always in a dark environment, like you're always hanging out with those kind of people, but then you associate people to places. You know, like I wouldn't say club or something is a bad place to go, but if you're always going to the club, I mean, what is that doing for you? I'm not saying it can't do anything for you, but ask yourself when you're going to these places and doing these things, what's the reason?
I would say places like clubs, places where you can actually get access to the stuff that you don't want to do. Or I wouldn't say not want to do, because you obviously want to do it since you're hanging out with them, but I would ignore clubs. And if you do go to the clubs, it comes back to the friend group. Like, you have to have good friends you go out with.
Just need to jump down.
2 hours later. 2,000 years later.
He's got to run out of mats sometime. What are you guys doing?
She's going to go get something. I'm here.
I was about to say, like, you guys could have came with me to get my check.
Nah,